without getting the other guys on the roster going. But this is obviously not a new game plan. Jokic has seen that throughout his career, and I suspect he'll be ready for it.
But great note on Jokic, the facilitator, because this postseason the Nuggets are 7-1 when he has at least 12 assists. Something to watch. Brian Windhorst is
keys for both teams, and tip-off fast approaching tonight, 8:30 Eastern time on ABC. The Nuggets hosting the Heat in Game 1 of the NBA Finals, and Miami has a big advantage when it comes to Finals experience. Heat players have combined for 70 career games in the Finals, 60 more than Denver. The Nuggets have just 2 players with Finals experience. Meanwhile, Denver does have one big advantage. That is rest. The Nuggets come into tonight with 7 more days of rest than the Heat. That's tied for the second largest ever entering a Finals. Teams with at least a week of extra rest are 3-2 in the series, 4-1 in Game 1, El.
Yeah, and Kevin, as for this specific matchup, the Nuggets have won 9 of the past 10 meetings. As to why they're here, what does that mean, Wendy?
Okay, this is the best way I can put it.
Okay.
ABC, always be competing. This is the way the Heat operate every day of the year. Now, what does that mean? It means when you are doing conditioning drills in August. It means when you're doing solo drills by yourself in September. It means when you're at Summer League. It means in the preseason. It means in garbage time. It means in practice. It means when you don't have the best team. They may be missing 3 starters. It means when you're a rookie who doesn't have a guaranteed spot on the roster. It means when you're Jimmy Butler. They have installed an ethos that they are always going to compete at max, even if they're alone in the gym with themselves or even with a coach in the off season. That is the way they operate, and that is where you see over and over and over them overachieve because they are used to playing that way, even when they sometimes have lesser talent as they've had throughout this postseason.
What they are not used to playing is a guy like Nikola Jokic, who has 8 triple-doubles in the postseason, most in NBA history, and that's going to be the biggest riddle to solve. So what's their strategy to slowing down the Joker?
Yeah, so what they've been doing throughout the postseason is they've been using zone. It's kind of like preparing for the option when you're playing the service academies. You can mimic it with your scout team, but you can't really duplicate it. So it has set teams off balance. It's certainly got the Boston Celtics in Mondays.
You get a chance to implement some plays that the opponent hasn't seen. Baseline out of bounds plays, sideline out of bounds plays, different actions that you're going to run late in the shot clock or late in game situations. But for the Miami Heat here in Denver, they cannot turn that ball over. The Nuggets are number 1 in points in the paint already. But at home in these playoffs, they're number 1 in fast break points. If you turn that ball over and they out in transition getting layups and dunks, it's going to fire up this crowd. It's going to really make it tough for Miami to win on the road.
What do you think, Michael?
Jokic. That's what I think. Period. I mean, Jokic. I mean, what are the Miami Heat going to do? And it's a number of things they have to do. It was great talking to Kendrick Perkins, our dear friend today, about guarding great bigs in his life, which he has done, including people as diversely talented as Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett, Dwight Howard, Hall of Famers. And Perkins said that, I asked him point blank, I said, Kendrick, is Jokic the best player in the world right now? And he said, yes. He's the best player in the world. And he said, I don't know that I ever had to guard anybody who had this diverse set of skills. And then he named all those guys I just named you in the Hall of Fame. And you're thinking, my goodness, how great is Nikola Jokic?
Jokic that I think we all need to pay attention to. He's leading everybody with second chance points in a postseason with an average of nearly 5 a game. He's actually shooting better from three-point range than he is from his mid-range game in this postseason, okay? He's only shooting like 34% from mid-range game. So if you contest him in traffic, he seems to have more trouble than he has more than 19.9 feet away from the basket. That's something I can assure you Eric Spoelstra is fully aware of, and that's going to be something that's interesting to watch as well.
So the Heat are an improbable finals team in so many ways, including the injuries they've overcome to get here, playing through most of this postseason without Tyler Hero or Victor Oladipo. But that might change as this series goes on. Gimme Woj, where's Adrian Wojnarowski? He is down on the court right now, and he has the very latest on the possible return of Tyler Hero. Woj, what can you tell us?
Greeny, I'm told that Sunday's Game 2.
Any opponent, and Denver's best record against any opponent over that exact span. The aforementioned NBA Countdown crew is coming to us from from Denver, as they set the table for tonight.
Here we are, Elle and Kevin. Thank you very much. And there he is, Bam Adebayo. When he scores 20, his team never loses. 6-0 in this postseason. Let's see what he's got in store for the Joker and company tonight here in Denver for Game 1 of the 2023 NBA Finals. As you mentioned, for the first time ever, the championship series is in the Rocky Mountains, and they'll be competing for that trophy in front of us, which also arrived here today, as did we. Stephen A. Smith, Michael Wilbon, Jalen Rose. I'm Greeny. Gentlemen, we are ready to roll. Stephen A., let's start with you. Game 1, they just set the table for us. In your mind, what is the most important factor as far as who wins tonight?
Well, to me personally, I think that you're looking at the Denver Nuggets. You expect a little rust because they've had so much time off. You're the Miami Heat. You're looking to capitalize off of that, even though you had to expend some energy in going through 7 games against the Boston Celtics. At the end of the day, you prevailed, and as a result, you're in rhythm, you're in flow. You got to take advantage of that opportunity if you can. You got a guy in Jokic averaging 29, 13, and 10 in the postseason, just killing it. You're looking at Jamal Murray averaging 27. Off of averaging 32 in the Western Conference Finals against the Los Angeles Lakers. You know what a dynamic duo Jokic and Jamal Murray are. They need to continue to be that way, again, if you're going to beat a Miami team that obviously is accustomed to playing together at a very elite level this postseason.
Jay, I'm interested in that. The rest versus...
with that fractured hand, and he's going to continue to work now between now, Game 2 on Sunday, do more with that hand, see how it responds to contact. You know, certainly that hand's going to get hit against the Denver Nuggets, but Miami knows, certainly Tyler Hero knows, they need to be able to score the ball to keep up with this Denver team. Tyler Hero, 20 points a game in the regular season for the Heat. And so he'll test it out. He'll see if he can go Sunday in Game 2. But I'm told if it is not Sunday, then there's a lot of confidence that Tyler Hero would be back for Game 3 when this series returns to Miami on Wednesday.
All right, Woj, outstanding. Thank you. We'll see you as this night goes on with so much information. Jalen, let's talk about that. What can they expect to get from Tyler Hero realistically, considering the hand, considering they've played without him now for his
shots off the dribble for himself and late in game situations as a shot maker. So I think he's going to be a joke, but he's not much of a defender. And one of the things the Heat have done really well is defend to get to this point. But obviously, you want to welcome a player like that back.
And I presume you can bring him off the bench and use him in ways that can really only benefit you, even if it's short term, right, Jalen?
Correct, yes.
I mean, you don't want to disrupt what you've got and what you've built now over this postseason. But if you can put Tyler Hero in there, imagine if Tyler Hero can come in Game 2 or 3 and add 8 to 12 points. That's a big jump and bump and a necessary one for Miami.
I got to admit this to y'all. I ain't that excited about seeing Tyler Hero. I'm not going to lie to you. And it's no knock against him. The brother can play. We saw what he did in the finals in 2020. I respect the hell out of him. But let's be honest. Gabe Vincent has played well. Caleb Martin has played well. Duncan Robinson has been playing very well. Shoots for 55% from 3. Ability to some degree. We know he can play. We know when he's healthy how big time he has the potential to be in moments. But the way those undrafted role players have stepped up and produced on both ends of the floor, anything that disrupts that is potentially dangerous.
Not disrupting, because you can get a turned ankle. You can get foul trouble. Right. You can get somebody who goes 0 for 5 in the first half, and you say, give me a seat for a minute.
I'm not saying
so you insert him where you need him.
You see how you being slick?
I'm not saying disrupt.
Brother. I'm saying he can potentially disrupt. No,
it is the Quinn are going to be able to use their best weapon against the Nuggets' best weapon is huge. What they've kind of tipped their hand in doing is that they don't want him to be able to destroy